In this lesson, we'll continue with our work on long tones and dynamics. Dynamics are controlled with the wind. Articulation is most often controlled with the tongue. Now, these two, the wind and the tongue, can operate independently. They do not need to be linked. Often I find a common problem is that articulation by many students is linked to the wind and not just the tongue. Let me illustrate this by having a broken crescendo. I stopped each portion of that crescendo with my tongue. Now notice the effect is very different if I try to make the crescendo and stop it with the air. With an air and embouchure stop to each note, the motion is halted a bit. That's okay if that's the effect you want. However, if you really want to direct the musical motion through separated notes, then use just the tongue for articulation. This is more effective. I have a video on playing on the wind that talks about this more. Let's illustrate this method of articulation and musical shaping in Weissenborn, page 12. First, I'll play the last two measures, and then I will give the same gesture by playing the first two measures. Notice I shape the gesture with the wind. It's with my air, it's with my dynamics that the gesture, the phrasing is shaped. The articulation I'm shaping with the tongue. These last two measures, I use a legato tongue separating the pairs of eighth notes. In the first two measures, I separate the staccato with my tongue as well. Listen to it again. Did you notice I didn't change my embouchure or my air? I kept those the same, I just changed the contact of the tongue on the reed. Now, I find that some students can't do this immediately. They've conditioned themselves to link the tongue with the embouchure and the air in every articulation. Hopefully you can avoid that bad habit. I'll play for you again that last gesture, the last two measures, again followed by the first. Now, if you don't remember the difference between a tongued stop of a note or the stop using embouchure and air, please review my third video in these bassoon lessons. That's BDP 33. Now, tongued stops on the reeds can vary quite a bit. I can stop a note quite abruptly. Or I can stop it less suddenly. In fact, if you gain enough control of your tongue over the reed, you can even create a tongued diminuendo. I'm stopping the reed with my tongue. Let's stop here for a moment and let me explain this
concept further. I only demonstrate here the tongued decrescendo or diminuendo for the purposes of practice and for you to learn to control your tongue on the reed. I never do this slow stop in performances. However, these soft stops to notes are really just tongued diminuendos occurring faster. So if you learn to master the slower stop of the notes with the tongue, then you will gain control over the stop of the notes at a quicker tempo. So I encourage you to practice this exercise and practice the timing of your stops, shorter or slower.
Now, when your tongue hits the reed, you can make it more abrupt by tonguing right in the center of the reed. You can make it less abrupt by tonguing more towards the edge. In this case, my reed's at a little bit of a slant, and I can tongue the lower right-hand corner. That gives me very smooth tonguing. So experiment with where your tongue contacts the reed for more subtle articulation. Now, I can also stop with the air in embouchure. Learning to vary your articulations will prepare you for much greater musical expression. You need to master all of these techniques to have the widest range of articulation available. Well, E-flat 3 on the bassoon deserves special attention. It is what is considered a forked fingering because a finger is skipped. Here we have one finger down, one finger down. This finger is skipped. Here are two standard fingerings for E-flat. Choose one of these two that has the best sound and intonation for you. For fast passages, I use this E-flat fingering. Keep on practicing. Just a few more lessons in this series are left. Bye.